Today we're riding the Solar Eclipse 2.0. I love this emoto. 72 volts, 10 kilowatts, full suspension. And it's this, I guess you call them the dual sport. That's the general layout here. And I gotta say, I think this is my favorite kind of bike. The dual sport, high powered, athletic, lightweight kind of a build. This is by no means the only bike in this category. In fact, I'll say this category is the most built out so far. The Sur, for example, I would definitely put into this category. That's been around probably the longest. There's also the Talarias, eRide Pro S. These are all very similar, athletic, lightweight, fast, high-performance bikes that are just so much fun to ride. But today I want to bring to your attention a brand new bike in this category for your consideration. I think it's easily one of the better new options. It's the XQi3. So kind of a weird name, but this is another dual sport Sur kind of a bike. Price tag right off the bat, $6,000, which makes it the exact same as the Solar Eclipse I'm on right now. But the decisions the company made, the set of trade-offs we're going with on this product, make it very different. The value proposition is for a different kind of person. And maybe that person's you. So for starters, it's a lot less powerful than the Solar Eclipse. Power is only 3.5 kilowatts. That's still a lot of power, don't get me wrong. Maximum speed, they're advertising at 45. And 45 miles an hour is pretty much the max I go even on this bike, which has the potential to go up to 60. So regardless, it should still retain that athletic, nimble feel that I love so much about this category. The battery is also 72 volts, which is going to significantly help with that peppiness, the responsiveness. And I'm really glad to see that it appears 72 volts is now becoming the standard for this class of bike. I'm really happy to see that. Just a couple of years ago when the Sur was your only option, I was beating that drum pretty hard and how I want to see more bikes be 72 volts. And that day has finally arrived. And 72 volts just the way to go. But I gotta say the battery here isn't that huge. It's 72 volts, 32 amp hours. Now my other bike, my custom build, the P51, is 72 volts, 30 amp hours. It's certainly a good capacity, but it's not great. This Solar Eclipse is 72 volts, 45 amp hours, and I feel much more confident on this bike when it comes to range anxiety. But with 32 amp hours, it probably will become a limiting factor more often than you would like. The bike for $6,000, even though it's 72 volts, it's not the most powerful on the market to choose from or have the largest capacity. But you can see they took the money they saved there and they spent it on the design as well as a few other features I'm about to touch on. So physically the design here I think is one of the most attractive on the entire market. It's an aluminum frame. Even the seat looks just beautifully designed, super smooth, sleek, dare I say futuristic. The way you access the battery too is by lifting up the seat. There's a cool, very nicely engineered hatch system. And I just think most people agree that in terms of the aesthetics, the looks, this bike looks phenomenal. I first came across this via Reddit, like most things in life. And that's what most of the top comments were talking about, how it's just such a looker of a bike. But I think one of the coolest things about this bike is the technology associated with this. So this is like a high-tech emoto. Let's get off right here, actually. So I guess the first thing to say is the display. I'm a huge fan of the display on this bike. First of all, it's circular. It looks to be very high quality in terms of brightness, resolution, colors, but it also packs with a ton of features, including GPS. which is something that is so basic, but I don't know why more bikes don't have this feature. For example, the solar eclipse here, this is just a dumb display. It shows me, it shows me useful information, but I can't change this to show me GPS or do anything like that. Now, I was just looking at my notes on this bike, and they're using an 80 amp controller. I don't know if that's peak or continuous. I'm gonna assume, based off of the nominal power being 3.5 kilowatts, that's peak amperage. And that would indicate 72 times 80 that the peak wattage of this bike is over 5,000. So that's a little bit better than the nominal 3.5 kilowatts. Okay, I think we're going this way. Man, even uphill, this bike just rips. But the display is not the only piece of tech this bike has. There's a phone app associated with this bike, and this could be a negative if there's a phone app that really doesn't work well and you need it to do certain activities. That can be a huge downside. But from what I've seen, you don't need the app to do critical functions on the bike, and it just gives you a ton of extra features, the biggest of which is the built-in GPS. This is something every bike should have. Unfortunately, the Solar Eclipse doesn't have this feature, but this Xi3 and whatever it's called has built-in GPS, so that means you can pull out your app and track its location. Now, you can always buy a little GPS dongle and hide it somewhere on your bike, but having it built in, I just think is the way to go. It's gonna be the best solution. It's integrated in the bike, and it's a feature that you essentially need. It's gonna give you a lot of peace of mind. If you have the bike locked up somewhere outside, you can check it to make sure it's still there via your phone. So that's super cool. You can also check out things like the state of charge. So just via your phone, you can check if the bike's done charging yet. And I also noticed via the product page that this bike has a USB Type-C phone charging port up on the handlebars. But yeah, let us know in the comments below, what do you think of this bike? My opinion here is that for $6,000, nominal 3.5 kilowatts, it's certainly not the most powerful thing, but I really like the technology implementation here. The phone app, the integrated GPS, you can check on the state of charge. The display, I think, is phenomenal. I really like having an actual useful display. So I think it's certainly an interesting bike, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. If you guys enjoyed, I appreciate a like before you go, subscribing, all that kind of stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.